Who is the Algerian thinker who was called the philosopher of the era, the jurist of civilization, and the theorist of the Islamic Renaissance? He is the thinker Malik bin Nabi. Who is he and where was he born? Come with me to learn about his story. Malik bin Nabi, 1905 to 1973 AD, corresponding to 1323 AH, 1393 AH, was one of the figures of Islamic thought in the 20th century. The Algerian thinker Malek Bennabi is considered one of the pioneers of the Islamic intellectual renaissance in the 20th century and can be considered an extension of Ibn Khaldun. He was born in the city of Tebessa in eastern Algeria in 1905, into a poor family among a conservative Algerian society. He graduated after 4 years of study from his school, which he considered a prison in which he was taught to write a deed of marriage or divorce, and graduated in 1925. Then he traveled with one of his friends to France, where he had a failed experience, so he returned again to his hometown. After returning, new experiences began to find work, the most important of which was his work in the court of Afflo, where he arrived in March 1927. He joined the Laselki School to graduate as an assistant engineer, which makes his subject purely technical, with a purely scientific nature, in contrast to the judicial and political field. Then he immersed himself in study and intellectual life. He also married a French woman who converted to Islam and called herself Khadija. He chose to reside in France and began to write about the issues of the entire Islamic world. In 1946 he wrote his book The Quranic Phenomenon and then Conditions of the Renaissance 1948, in which he presented the concept of colonialism and the destination of the Islamic world 1954. In his book The Problem of Ideas in the Islamic World is considered one of the most important books written in Arabic in the 20th century. He moved to Cairo after the declaration of the armed revolution in Algeria in the year 1954 AD. And there he was respected, married to an Egyptian woman, and wrote The Idea of African Asian 1956. His serious works began to continue, and after the independence of Algeria, he returned to the homeland, and he was appointed Director of Higher Education, which was confined to University of Central Algeria, until he resigned in 1967, devoting himself to writing, starting this stage by writing his memoirs, under the general title Memoirs of a Witness of the Century. The revolution, Juhayna of Algeria, which led to an independence drenched in blood and tears, and soon the agents, opportunists and careerists worked to usurp it, and marginalize the honorable, pure ones from its creators, and at the forefront of these honorable men are men of thought and opinion, including Malik bin Nabi, who spent the day, October 31, 1973, in silence, destitute, besieged and forgotten, which is an insult to those demagogues, including the semi-mujahideen, who sold the homeland by barter on a platter of gold, to the agents of colonialism, its pawns, and its descendants, affiliation and passion, to immerse his reputation in the rotten mud.